Baby, something happened last night that I didn't expect. Something that changed everything because it came out of me so naturally, so raw, that even I didn't realize how deeply it had been living inside me. My mom asked me about you. It wasn't planned. It wasn't dramatic. She just looked at me with that motherly softness and asked in the middle of dinner, "Do you still love her?" And I froze. Not because I didn't know the answer, but because the truth was so big, so loud inside me that I didn't know how to say it without breaking. I looked down for a moment, held my breath, and then I said it. Yes, I still love her. I don't think I'll ever stop. And the moment I said it out loud, to the one person who's seen every version of me, I felt something in me collapse and rebuild at the same time. Because for the first time, I wasn't hiding it. I wasn't pushing it away. I wasn't pretending I'd moved on. I owned it. And baby, I didn't just tell her that I love you. I told her why I'll never be able to love anyone else the way I love you. I told her that you're the one person who saw the real me when I didn't even know who I was. I told her that you held space for my healing before I even understood I was wounded. That you touched places in me I never let anyone near, not even her. And when she asked me, "Then why aren't you two together?" I couldn't hold it anymore. I broke, because I didn't have an answer that made sense. How do I explain to her, to anyone, that I let fear and ego speak louder than love? That I thought I had more time? That I thought I had to get better before I deserved someone like you? And now that I finally understand what you meant to my soul, I'm here with nothing but memories, voice notes, and the ghost of a touch I can't replicate. I told her everything. The way you smiled when you were nervous. The way your silence would say more than your words. The way your name still makes my chest tighten, like it's remembering a home I was exiled from. And she listened, quietly, like she knew, like she had always known, that no one else would ever come close. I need to ask you something, baby. Did your mom ever ask about me? Did she ever see you trying to smile when your heart was breaking because of what happened to us? Because mine did. And maybe that's why it hit so hard. When I told her no one else compares to her, I wasn't just talking about your beauty, or your laugh, or your body. I was talking about the way you loved me, the way you saw through all my defenses, all my masks. I told my mom that even now, even after everything, I still dream about you. I still imagine you walking back through my door like time had mercy on us. And the most painful part, I told her the truth I've never said out loud before. I ruined it with the only person who ever made me feel whole. And she didn't say anything, she just placed her hand over mine and whispered, "Then go find her before it's too late." If you've ever had someone ask you about the person your soul still aches for, comment below. Tell me if your mom, your sister, your best friend has ever seen through your silence and asked the question you weren't ready to answer. Because last night I realized, when the people who know you best bring up the one you've been hiding in your heart, It's not just coincidence. It's the universe trying to remind you of what's still unfinished, what's still possible. And, baby, the moment I walked away from that dinner table, I felt it, that invisible string between us, pull tight again. Like something had been released from my chest, something I'd buried so long ago that I forgot how heavy it had become. I sat in my car in the driveway and stared at the steering wheel for 20 minutes, replaying that conversation over and over, wondering what you would have said. If you heard it, would you have cried? Would you have smiled through the tears, knowing that I never stopped loving you, even when I stopped showing it? Because that night, I didn't just tell my mom about us. I told the universe, I'm done pretending. I'm done hiding the truth that keeps me up at night. I'm done watching old videos of you and whispering, what if, under my breath, while the world thinks I've moved on. I haven't, and I don't think I ever really will. You weren't a chapter in my story. You were the book. The whole damn book. There's a part of me that wonders if your heart felt it when I said your name. If somewhere, wherever you were at that moment, walking through your house, brushing your hair, pouring your coffee, you felt a sudden ache or warmth in your chest without knowing why. Because my soul called yours again, openly, boldly, with no pride left to protect me. And I need you to know, beloved, that when I told her who you are to me, I didn't say you were just a past lover. I said you were the one I prayed for, the one I sabotaged, the one who knew me in a way I didn't even know myself. I told her that you were the only woman I ever looked at and saw my future in, that even though we're apart, I still feel you. I still talk to you in my mind when something funny happens. I still wish I could send you songs that say what my ego never could. And I still imagine your hand in mine on a Sunday morning, sunlight pouring in, no chaos, just us, finally healed, finally home. It's wild how people say time heals all wounds, because the truth is, time just teaches you how to hide them better. But last night, I stopped hiding. I let myself break in front of the one woman who'd seen every version of me, my mother. And when she saw my pain, she didn't try to fix it. She just looked at me like only a mother can and said, if she was really the one, she probably still feels it too. And baby, I hope that's true. I hope wherever you are, you're watching this or reading this and feeling that same pull, that same whisper that says, this isn't over. This was never over, because I'm not just remembering you. I'm finally ready to fight for you, to speak your name without fear, to tell the whole world that no matter who comes or goes, no one will ever be you. No one will ever match your frequency, your grace, your fire, your softness, your soul. And I refuse to spend the rest of my life pretending someone else can fill your space. Do you know how many times I've been in rooms full of people and still felt completely alone. It's because my soul has already chosen you, and every time I've tried to deny it, the universe has humbled me. Every time I tried to date someone new, I found pieces of you in them. Your voice, your laugh, your way of tilting your head when you're trying to understand something deeply. But it was never really you, and I don't want fragments of you anymore. I want the whole you. The raw, unfiltered, spiritual storm that you are. The soul that met mine before this life began, and I'm done being scared of that truth. I told my mom that night, if God gave me one more chance to do it right with her, I wouldn't waste a second. She looked me in the eye and said, then don't wait for someday. Love doesn't wait. It remembers. If you've ever had to admit to someone that the person you love, let me know. Comment below. If you've ever looked your mom in the eyes and said their name like a prayer, like a surrender, let me know. Because sometimes we need to say it out loud to realize it never left us. The love, the ache, the connection, it's still here, still breathing, still waiting. And now, baby, I have to confess something I haven't told anyone else, not even her. That night, after I opened my heart to my mom, I drove through the city in silence. I didn't play music. I didn't call anyone. I just let the echo of your name fill the car. I remembered how your name used to sound when it was said with laughter, with desire, with love. I remembered the first time I ever whispered it like it was sacred, like it was the only word in the world that could bring me peace. And as I drove, I saw flashes of you everywhere. A woman walking with your same posture. A billboard with the city you once said you dreamed of living in. The color of your favorite hoodie on a stranger passing by. And that's when it hit me. This isn't nostalgia. This isn't me just reminiscing. This is your energy, still haunting my present, still showing up in my reality, because my heart never truly closed the door. I want you to know something else I told her. I said, Mom, it wasn't just about the romance. It was who I became when I was with her. Because you didn't just make me feel loved, you made me feel alive. You made me curious about life again. You made me want to be a better man, not for you, but because of the way you saw me, your belief in me, your patience, your spiritual depth. They woke something in me that no one else ever touched. I didn't lose a girlfriend, Mom. I lost my mirror. I lost my safe place. I lost the one person I could cry in front of without feeling weak. And now that I've said it all out loud, I can't go back to pretending this love was a phase. I can't keep pretending that silence is safer than vulnerability. If you're watching this, and you've ever loved someone who awakened you, someone who saw your demons and still stayed with their light, type, I remember, in the comments. Because these kinds of connections don't fade. They settle deep into the bones. They stay in the breath. They whisper in our sleep. And no matter how many years pass or people come and go, They return in moments like this, when the soul finally says, I still choose them. Baby, I need to know, have you told anyone about me? Have you ever broken down in front of someone and said, he's the only one who made me feel safe? Because I'm wondering if your heart ever exploded with truth in the way mine did that night. I wonder if, when no one's watching, you scroll back through our old messages, if your fingers ever hover over the send button and then hesitate, not because you don't want to, but because you're scared of what will happen if you open that door again. I've been there, and I don't want to be afraid anymore, because last night, telling my mom who you really are to me felt like the most honest moment of my life. And now that it's out, now that I've spoken the truth, I can't shut it down again. You deserve to be loved out loud. You deserve to be claimed with no hesitation, no shame, no fear. And I want to be the man who does that. Who doesn't just think about you in the dark, but tells the world in the daylight that you are the one. I told her that no matter who else I meet, they're not you. They don't make my soul sit up and listen. They don't quiet the noise in my mind like you did. They don't touch my heart with a single glance, the way you could, with just your silence. I told her that I don't want a love that looks good on paper. I want a love that feels like home. And that's you. It has always been you. Comment below if you've ever loved someone so deeply, so completely, that even your own family noticed the shift in you. Tell me if you've ever felt like no one else compares, not because of what they did, but because of who they were to your soul, because that's the kind of love this is, and no amount of time or distance has diluted it. Thank you. And I don't know if this will ever reach you, but if it does, I need you to understand what that moment meant to me. The moment I let your name fall from my lips in front of my family. It wasn't a casual sentence. It was a resurrection of everything I buried out of fear, out of ego, out of that stupid idea that men aren't supposed to speak with that much emotion. But when I said your name, it wasn't just you that came alive again. It was me, the real me, the version of me you knew, the version I've been pretending didn't exist. And when I looked into my mom's eyes and told her the truth about you, something broke in me, but not in a painful way. It was the kind of break that sets you free, the kind that says, enough pretending. This is who I love. This is who my heart chose. You have no idea how long I've waited for someone to ask me, who is she really to you? And last night, she did. And I didn't stutter. I didn't downplay it. I never said love. I didn't say, oh, she was just someone I used to date. No. I looked her in the eye and I said, she's the one. I told her. She saw me in a way I didn't even see myself. She never judged the brokenness. She kissed it. She held it. She waited for the part of me I didn't know how to give. I told her that when I was with you, I felt like I belonged somewhere. Not in a house or a city, but inside a heart. Your heart. And I don't know if you'll ever feel safe enough to come back, or if we've already lost our chance. but I needed someone in my life to know. I needed to stop carrying this truth in silence. If you've ever loved someone so much that their memory lives inside your body, comment, "I still feel them." Because this isn't just a story I'm telling. It's a heartbeat I can't shut off. It's a soul contract that still hums in my bones when I hear your name. And I think deep down, my mother saw that too. She didn't tell me to move on. She didn't say I was being dramatic. She said, "Some people don't come around twice. Don't wait until you're too old to reach out." That sentence hit me like thunder, because you've never stopped being my storm, my calm, my fire, and my peace all at once. And now that I've said it, now that I've told the one person who's known me since birth, I feel something shifting, like the universe is listening again, like the timelines are moving, colliding, rewriting. And maybe, just maybe you felt it too. Maybe your heart beat faster at a random moment yesterday. Maybe you felt a sudden rush of warmth or longing and didn't know why. Maybe it was because I finally aligned my truth with my actions. I didn't just think of you. I honored you. I didn't just remember you. I acknowledged you out loud in front of someone who matters. And that changed something in me. Beloved, if this is reaching you right now and you feel that tug in your chest, please comment what's in your heart, even if it's just one word, even if it's just me too, because I know I'm not the only one feeling this. I know soul connections like ours don't dissolve. They pause. They stretch across lifetimes. They wait for courage to return. And courage, it found me last night at my mother's kitchen table. And now that it's been spoken into the world, your name, your memory, your meaning, I can't unfeel the shift that happened in me. It's like some invisible weight I didn't even know I was carrying suddenly fell from my chest the moment I said, "She's the one," who made me feel like I mattered, like I was more than my mistakes, like I was still worthy of softness even when I was all sharp edges. I told them everything I couldn't tell you when you were in front of me. I told them that I tried to act tough after you left, like I was okay, like it didn't shatter me, but I was lying. I wasn't okay. I still ache in places I can't even name. I still turn around when I hear your name in public, like maybe fate will be kind enough to let me see you just one more time. And I swear, baby, the strangest part is that the more I spoke about you, the more real you felt in the room again. Not just as a memory, but as a presence, like maybe your soul was listening from afar, and like maybe somewhere your spirit sat still for a second and whispered, "He's talking about me, isn't he?" I don't know how the universe works, but I do know this. Energy doesn't lie, and your energy, it's still wrapped around my every breath. It's in the quiet moments when I'm alone and suddenly feel the pull of something I can't explain. It's in the way I still remember the sound of your laugh, Not just the melody of it, but the feeling it used to leave in my chest. It's in the way I wake up sometimes, with your name on my lips and tears in my eyes. Not because I had a nightmare, but because I had a dream that felt too close to real. And then I opened my eyes to find you gone again. I need to ask you something, and maybe you'll never answer. Maybe you'll just feel it in your soul the way I've felt you every day since. But baby, did you ever tell your people about me? Not the version they saw. Not the man who smiled politely at the dinner table, but the real me. The one who held your hands and tried to kiss away your pain. The one who stayed up with you while you cried over things you never told anyone else. Did you ever whisper my name in the dark and say, "He changed something in me"? 'Cause I did. I told them that even if you never come back, even if I never get the chance to be yours again, I will never regret loving you. Not 1 second, not one scar. Comment, I've felt this too, if you've ever loved someone so deeply, so spiritually, that just speaking their name felt like lighting a candle in the dark. Let me know if you've ever had to carry a sacred love in silence, because the world wouldn't understand the depth of it, because that's what I've done with you, baby. I've carried you, quietly, devotedly. I've protected the softness of your memory like it was still living inside my hands. And now, I've finally spoken it. I finally admitted to someone who knows my heart that no one has ever touched me the way you did, not just physically, emotionally, spiritually, eternally. But if you feel it too, if your chest has ever tightened in the silence of your room thinking about me, if your body remembers what your mind tries to forget, then maybe this message was never just mine to give. Maybe it was ours. Maybe you're hearing this now because your soul needed confirmation that what we had wasn't a dream. It was divine. And now that I've told them, now that the secret is out, I can finally begin to live in the truth of it. I didn't realize how long I'd been hiding you until your name left my mouth and echoed in the room like a confession, and not a guilty one. No, it felt like the kind of confession you whisper in a church when your soul's too heavy, when you've held something sacred too long in silence. Because that's what you've become to me, baby. A sacred secret, a temple in my memory that I kept locked. Not because I wanted to forget, but because I was too afraid to open the door and feel what I'd buried. But last night, when I finally let it out, when I said she's the one my soul still aches for, the air around me changed. My voice cracked, but my spirit finally felt whole again. I told them things I never admitted to anyone. I told them that when I lost you, I didn't just lose a relationship. I lost a piece of myself. I told them that there were nights I couldn't sleep, not because I was angry, but because I couldn't stop replaying the sound of your goodbye. That quiet, soft exit, the one where you didn't slam doors, didn't scream, didn't blame, you just left. And that silence hurt more than any argument ever could, because I knew then that you weren't leaving out of hate. You were leaving because staying was starting to hurt you. and I couldn't bear that. So I told them the truth, that it wasn't just a breakup. It was the moment I realized I had touched something holy and lost it, that your energy wasn't just something I enjoyed, it was something I needed, that the way you laughed, the way you moved through space, the way you spoke like the universe was hiding inside your throat, it wasn't normal. It was cosmic. You weren't just someone I dated. You were the echo I hear when the world goes quiet, the scent that never fully fades. The lesson I keep returning to no matter how far I run. For a minute, if you've ever had someone live in your bones, like that, someone who left but never really did. Someone whose absence feels louder than their presence ever did, because I'm telling you now, I live in that feeling daily. And saying your name aloud didn't make it go away. It made it deeper, sharper, more real, like you were sitting beside me, silently watching me admit it all, finally. God, baby, if you only knew what I saw in their faces. My family didn't judge. They didn't question why I was still holding on. They just listened. They saw the way my hands trembled when I said your name. They saw how my voice broke when I said, she saw me. I mean, really saw me. And they understood, because when a man speaks with that kind of broken reverence, that kind of devotion, you don't question it, you honor it. And they did. They didn't laugh. They didn't interrupt. They let me mourn you out loud for the first time. And after it was over, after the tears had fallen and the silence had wrapped itself around us again, someone said something I'll never forget. They said, you still love her like she never left. And I couldn't even deny it. I didn't want to, because it's true. I still walk into rooms hoping your presence might surprise me. I still write letters I'll never send. I still light imaginary candles for you in the cathedral of my mind. And I still, even now, ask the universe if it's too late for miracles. If you've ever believed in second chances, in love that returns stronger after the silence, in souls that are meant to realign, drop a comment. Let me know I'm not the only one out here holding on to something invisible but unbreakable, because that's what you are to me, baby. Unbreakable. Even when the world tried to convince me you were a phase, a lesson, a chapter, I knew you were always the whole book. And maybe that's why I had to tell them. Not to win you back, not to make you come running, but because some truths deserve to be spoken, even if they never bring back what was lost. You deserved to be acknowledged, not hidden, not reduced, not explained away. It was spoken with honor, with reverence, with love, always love. You know, I didn't expect it to hit me so hard. I thought maybe saying your name would feel like closing a chapter, like exhaling a breath I'd been holding for too long. But it didn't feel like closure. It felt like resurrection. It felt like I was pulling something sacred out of the grave I buried it in, just to remind myself that it had once lived. And baby, You lived in me. You still do. There are parts of my body that remember your touch like a prayer. There are corners of my soul that haven't seen light since you left. And when I told them, when I finally let your name fill the silence, it was like all those hidden rooms in me lit up again. I told them that I still see you in places I shouldn't. In the curve of someone else's smile, in the scent of vanilla and old books, in the way a woman tilts her head when she listens closely. It's never you, but it's always a ghost of you. Always some version of you the universe teases me with. And God, it hurts, not because I want to forget, but because I'm terrified I never will. Because what we had wasn't loud or dramatic. It was soft, sacred, the kind of love you don't write songs about because it's too holy for melody. The kind that leaves you speechless, not because you don't know what to say, but because no words feel worthy enough. And I swear, baby, as I sat there sharing pieces of you with the people who've known me all my life, I felt like I was giving away something I had sworn to protect. But it was time. Time to stop pretending you were just another story. You were the whole library, the sacred text, the forgotten scripture that saved me when I didn't know I needed saving. And the truth is, I never stopped needing you. Have you ever had to love someone from a distance so sacred it felt like worship? If you have, comment and let me know. Because that's what it became. A love I couldn't touch, couldn't name, but one that moved me, shaped me, defined me. A love that taught me how to pray in silence, how to ache without anger, how to miss someone without making them feel guilty for being gone. I didn't tell them everything. Some parts of you are still mine. Some moments still live in the soft part of my chest where only your name fits. But I told them enough for them to see the truth in my eyes. That you were never just someone I loved. You were someone I still love, someone I will always love. There's something unexplainable about the way certain souls collide. It's not always about timelines or logic. It's about energy, frequency, memory beyond memory. And when I spoke of you, baby, it wasn't just with sadness. It was with awe. Because even through the pain, even through the silence that stretched between us like an ocean, I still marvel at the fact that I got to love you at all. That for a while, I was the one you chose to share your laughter with, your fears, your softness, your scars. And now the world knows, or at least my world does. They know that I loved a woman so deeply that I still carry her name like a sacred hymn. They know that I lost her and never really came back to myself. They know that every time I look up at the night sky, I wonder if you're doing the same. If your thoughts ever drift back to me the way mine do, to you, without warning, without control, without end. I didn't tell them you were perfect. I told them you were real, that you made mistakes, that we both did, but none of it ever made me love you less. In fact, it made me love you more. because perfection never moved me. But you did. You, with all your fire and tenderness, all your fears and courage. You, who walked into my life like a storm and left like a sunset I'm still chasing. So now I sit here with the echo of your name still ringing in the air, and I wonder, did you feel it? Did your heart skip for no reason? Did your skin tingle when I whispered you back into existence? Because I swear, baby, that's what it felt like I called your soul home, even if only for a moment, even if only in memory. After I said your name, everything slowed down. The room was full, but I only felt the space where you should have been. It was like time paused just long enough for my heart to remember the exact rhythm it used to beat when you were near. Baby, I didn't just say you were someone I loved. I said you were the only person who ever made me feel seen in places I didn't even know I was hiding. I told them how your presence never demanded attention, but somehow it always commanded my entire focus, like the universe was constantly whispering, "Watch her. Don't miss this. She's the reason you were built with this much heart." I told them that no one had ever left a silence in my life so loud, that your absence has weight, has texture, that I still reach for you in conversations I don't even realize I'm having in my head. And I know it sounds crazy, baby, but there are moments, random, beautiful, devastating moments, when I feel like you're about to walk through the door, like something in the air shifts, like your soul brushes past mine just to remind me I'm still here. I still feel you, and in those moments, everything else fades. Because when I remember you, I don't just see the way you looked. I feel the way you made the world stop. You ever love someone so deeply that their laugh echoes in your bones long after they've stopped laughing around you? That's what you are to me. You're a vibration, a pulse, a sacred frequency only my heart knows how to find. And baby, when I finally let those words fall from my lips, she's the one I still can't let go of. There was a quiet in the room that said everyone already knew. And that's the thing, isn't it? People always knew. They saw it in the way I spoke about you, even when I wasn't speaking directly. They noticed how I went quiet when something reminded me of you. They saw how my whole being shifted when your name was mentioned, how my shoulders tensed like your memory was a ghost, brushing its fingers down my spine. And now that it's out in the open, now that I finally said it, I feel like I've finally given you the place you always had in my life, but that I was too scared to admit. If you're reading this, or even just feeling this, I need you to know I never stopped believing in what we had. I never minimized it. I never compared it. I carried it through every empty room, through every silent car ride, through every night where I stared at the ceiling whispering your name to the dark like it was the only language I still knew how to speak. Comment if you've ever loved someone so much that even time couldn't erase their fingerprints from your soul. Let me know if you've ever had to grieve someone who's still alive, because that's what this has felt like. A funeral with no body, a goodbye with no closure, a heartbreak so quiet the world didn't even notice, but I did. Every day, every breath, every heartbeat that didn't land quite right without you. Baby, do you even know the kind of power you had over me? Not in a possessive way, but in the way a sunrise owns the sky, and the way oceans claim the shore. You didn't ask for control, you simply were. And I was the one who surrendered, not because I was weak, but because loving you felt like finally coming home. And now that I've shared you with the people who matter most, I wonder what they see when they look at me. Do they see a man still in love? Do they see the ghost of a relationship written all over my eyes? Or do they finally understand why I've never been able to settle for anything less than soul? You weren't a lesson, baby. You were a revelation. You were proof that love didn't have to be loud to be powerful, that sometimes the quietest moments, like you falling asleep on my chest, like you brushing your fingers through your hair, like you looking out the window lost in thought, could be the loudest memories, the ones that echo forever. And God, I hope you feel it. I hope that somewhere your soul pauses mid-breath and says, he's thinking of me again, because I am. I always am. And now that I've spoken your truth into my family's world, I feel like I've done something right, like I've honored you, like I've honored us. And here's the rawest truth of all. The moment I said your name, my mother's eyes softened. She didn't look at me with confusion. She looked at me like she already knew. Like mothers always know when their sons are still in love. Like maybe she saw something in me after we parted ways that I didn't see in myself. Maybe she watched me harden, get quieter, pull away from joy. And maybe, just maybe, hearing me say your name gave her the answer she's been waiting for. Not because she's hoping we'll get back together, but because she finally saw me feeling again. Fully, deeply, truthfully. That's what you did, baby. You cracked me open in front of the people who raised me. You made it impossible for me to keep pretending I was fine. And now, even though you weren't in the room physically, your soul was everywhere. In every breath I took, in every look they gave me, in the way the air felt heavier with honesty and lighter with relief. Because for the first time in forever, I said your name without fear. I let your truth live out loud. And God, I felt free. I don't know where this path leads. I don't know if we'll ever speak again. But I do know this. I'll never again deny what you meant to me. I won't rewrite history to protect myself. I won't shrink the enormity of what we were just because life forced us into silence. You were and will always be the most sacred chapter of my soul's story. And now my family knows it too, and true. So if this message has stirred something in you, if you've ever felt like someone out there still speaks your name in rooms you're no longer in, still defends you in conversations you'll never hear, still loves you even when the world has moved on, then I want you to do something brave. Leave a comment below. Say, he still loves me, or I feel this in my soul. Say whatever truth your heart has been holding back. Let the universe witness it. Let this be the space where unspoken love is allowed to exist. If this message held your heart gently, if it reminded you of a love that still lingers in your energy, please take a moment to subscribe. It's not just about a button. It's about staying connected, staying open, staying ready to receive the words your heart might need tomorrow. Click the bell icon so you never miss the next time this voice speaks to your soul, because these aren't just stories. These are pieces of you, reflected back with love and honesty. And if someone else out there needs this, share it. Let them know they're not crazy for still feeling everything they thought they buried. Let them know their love was real, their connection was sacred, and their truth is safe here. Because maybe, just maybe, someone out there is still whispering your name too. And maybe, just maybe, they're finally ready to say it out loud.